that left side, you can.
You could be a core piece on any other team, dude.
I wouldn't get the way things are going. I don't. If I'm GM, I'm not giving anyone who isn't a top, like a play driving top six forward or a defenseman that you can throw in any situation more than 4 years.
You can put him in any situation. You
can't put him on the power play. You can't put him on when you need.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
You have to prove that to get that, though.
Okay, Let's kick off freaking Sergachev off the second power play unit, and let's kick off Victor Hedman off the first power play unit. Yeah, that's great.
That's why you don't give him You don't give him more than 4 years.
That's why I'm saying though. That's why I'm saying that on any other team, he would be able to get $4 million because he would be a top 3 defenseman. That's what I'm saying. He's a top 4 defenseman right now. He could be top 3 easily enough. And I think he's along the same line.
Is he a top 3 defenseman on the Flames?
On the Flames?
No.
It'd be fucking close, Kev. It'd be damn close.
No.
He's not a top he's not a top 3 defenseman on the Canucks. As much as I like him. I like Chernak. I do, but he's not a top 3. You got Hughes and Schmidt. And then you've got Myers and Edler.
I would say he is better than Tyler Myers, Sean. I would say that.
Again, I don't like the term on the Myers deal, but Myers you can actually play on the power play. You can play on the penalty kill.
But why isn't he playing on the power play? Huh? Why is he not getting the opportunity?
He might this year.
No, he won't.
Exactly. What I'm saying is that he's a defensive defenseman, but he can play 2 ways. He has a good shot. It's just it's not shown because of the amount of good talent that is ahead of him. And what I'm saying is that if you want cost certainty, if he was going to get 6 years, which would make sense if he did that, that would make a lot of sense because that's very similar to the Rasmus Anderson deal. Boom.
Anderson has more offensive upside than Chernak does, though.
We don't know that though because it's the exact same thing as having the opportunity. If Shabbat was on a better team, he would have the opportunity to have better numbers. That's what I'm saying. And because if he was, say if Cernak was on Ottawa or on a different team other than Tampa Bay, then I truly believe that he would be a top 3 defenseman. He's still what is he? Is he 23? How old is he? Cernak. Cernak,
24.
Yeah. Exactly. So the reason why that it happened 3 years, it's a bridge deal. Yes. Second of all, it is. It's COVID times. We don't know. They need that cost certainty to be lower. But if he was on a different team, they would have locked him up for like Rasmus Anderson for 6 years, $4 million.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
I truly believe that. And the same way I truly fucking believe that Shabbat is better than Hughes.
Are we ready to go?
Hold on. Since I brought up Shabbat and Hughes, I want to talk about the offensive zone starts and defensive zone starts. Shabbat, offensive zone is 54.9%. Defensive zone is 45.1%. Hughes, this past year, was 63.7% offensive zone starts and 36.3% in the defensive zone.
They're okay, but I'll counter that by you've got a couple of players with some different experience levels there too, and that's different strategy. That doesn't. I don't know if that sells your argument of that Shabbat is better than Hughes. That's
look at what I sent did I send that on Twitter? The comparison of the two players of the past season, and I also have a chart of the comparison of what a full 82 game season would look like for both of them. And Shabbat is ahead on all of them except for goals, except on points. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna start. Are we gonna start? Live.
We haven't started?
We haven't started yet.
We're live.
Hi, everybody.
We are live. 54 minutes away from Canada's pre-tournament game against Russia as we are doing our midweek intermission. Welcome to the Hockey Podcast. You can, of course, follow us on Twitter at podcast_hockey. Like us on Facebook, the Hockey Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube, the Hockey Podcast, or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Google, Spotify, etc., etc., etc. And tell your friends about the most underrated podcast in hockey. We have, of course, we have what we call unscripted banner. That was not even planned. I just let him go, and we went. And it was something. How's it going, Devin? Are you okay?
I am great. Thank you for asking, Kev. I want people to give Thomas Chabot and Eric Chernak more respect because they deserve it.
That's fair. And we'll see Thomas Chabot out west very early right here. We'll get into that in a little bit and a bunch of other stuff. Hello, Sean.
Hello, Kevin. I just want to make sure that Devin understands that just because we have differing opinions on how good these defensemen are doesn't mean we're not giving them the respect they deserve. I have Thomas Chabot right up there with Quinn Hughes, and somehow that's apparently not good enough for Devin.
That is not what I said. Oh my God, you're putting words in my mouth. Are you kidding me?
Yes, Devin, we think that you want Thomas Chabot in the Bobby Orr category of defensemen. Like if it's with me, yeah.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
100%.
The greatest defenseman who ever lived, Thomas Chabot. That's what we call a hot take here on the Hockey Podcast. So we'll get into we got lots to get into here ahead of the juniors. We have some news to cover. And the schedule was released, and we'll kind of get into the World Junior a little bit here, as well as Devin. The Finnish Maple Leafs played last night against the United States, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But I think let's start with the news in Canucks land. Jason King was promoted from the Utica Comets to be part of the assistant staff with the Vancouver Canucks, and Chris Higgins was as well promoted. We'll start with Sean here, kind of get your thoughts on this, what the Canucks did, and how are you feeling about that? And
I like these moves. Jason King has been honing his craft in the AHL for the past few years. They seem to like what he's doing, and promoting him to basically to a similar role to what Manny Malhotra held last year and the couple years beforehand, where he's not going to be on the bench, but he's going to work with the players in practice, and he's going to be the eye in the sky during games. So I think it's a good step. I think it's a position that I don't know how many teams have, but I think it's a position that is a very smart position to have, because you can see different things when you're not down at ice level on the bench and you're up in the whatever press box, owner's box, GM's box. The eye in the sky, I think, is something that is a very good position to have to help your players develop, and they can bring in quickly bring in what players are doing bad and what they're doing good in the game, as well as they can communicate that to them during practices as well. And then with Chris Higgins, he's been kind of as a consultant or something, like I think he's been involved in player development and skills as a skills coach and everything like that for a while. I believe he was working with as a liaison between the team and NCAA players as well for the past year or so. He's one of those players who I think is very underrated for the type of player he was in his career. He was very good as a junior and before turning professionally. And then he had to work with, and then he had a couple of really good years to start off, and then he had to work at it. So he understands all aspects of being one of the better players, but still need to work at certain things. So I think it's a good spot for him because I think he understands what players need to do once they're drafted.
Devin, did you have any thoughts on?
Happy for Chris Higgins. Sounds like that's a good step up for him, and hopefully he can thrive at that position. So always liked him as a player, and good on him for having some sort of hockey job right after his playing career.
He's really tapped into the Vancouver market. He was traded to the Flames, and then I think, if I remember correctly, left as a free agent to Vancouver. He kind of latched into the Vancouver market rather quickly, and he did some in between period analysis on Canucks radio with TSN. So I'm excited for him. And it's good for Jason King to get the promotion up there. I think especially for a guy like Zach McEwen, as an example, and the young defenseman, which will be part of the Canucks training camp storylines, the Raffertys. I think that will be very good to have Jason King there. Even probably a little bit for Mikey DiPietro if he ends up being the third goaltender that the Canucks will need to have. I think it'll be a good thing for them, and good for them. Good to promote. I guess the other part of this is Travis Green still waiting for that extension. I think it will get done. I just think it's just a matter of time and a matter of circumstance at this point. I don't expect that Travis Green would be going anywhere. They will get this done.
When do you predict they're going to do that?
I think it's going to happen before the I wouldn't be surprised if it's done before camp, but it'll definitely be done before the 13th. I know it's a bold. I know I am going on a limb and actually going very definitive on that, but I really do feel that that's the way it is. I think they were waiting to actually talk with him in person, as opposed to just Zoom calls or whatever they're using. But I think they're definitely waiting to talk with him in person and get that hammered out. As well as I think they were waiting to see what this season looked like and what kind of revenue they can bring in before they really offer things up for and solidify things for Travis Green, because up until now there's so much uncertainty. Because if you look at the way the Canucks have handled this offseason, they were very, very quiet. Outside of like the first few days of free agency. And then they were trying to just, I think they were just waiting to see what it looked like. And they've signed a couple of the RFAs, AHL and taxi squad players that they needed to do. And now they've made these signings or promotions. And then what I think will follow suit pretty quickly is an extension for Travis Green, and really hoping for an extension for Ian Clark as well, part and parcel.
I don't know if it will get done before the season. I do think it will get done probably. I won't be as bold. I'll say probably by the end of the month. I do think first half of the season it'll get done. But I don't think that If this doesn't get done by the trading deadline, I think that then I'll start hitting the panic button a little bit more. But I don't see that. I think Travis Green wants to be in Vancouver. I also think he knows what he's worth. I mean, I think he has a little bit of a right to play hardball, but I think eventually they'll work this out.
The Canucks have avoided. Sorry, Dev, but the Canucks have avoided going into sort of the lame duck years of coaches and GMs for the most part throughout their history, especially under the Aquilinis. And I don't. That's why I'm confident that I think it's going to get done before the season starts.
It's funny you said revenue coming in, Sean. So are you expecting him to get a couple mil from the revenue that the Canucks are going to get from their decals that they're going to have on their helmets for advertising?
I think he's going to be in that $1 to $2 mil range. I think, I think that's kind of the going rate for experienced NHL coaches, especially ones that are well thought of as Travis Green is.
Would you consider him experienced?
3 years?
Is that enough time? It's been 3, I think. This is going to be on 4, I think. Yeah,
and he did a few years down in the AHL too. So I think he's definitely got the experience. It's not 5, 10, 15 years like some coaches, but it's still not. You're still not a rookie coach in the NHL. You're still not a rookie coach in the professional ranks at all. So,
and he's also had to put up with a lot of crap in Vancouver in terms of not media crap, but the roster wasn't great, and he was forced to coach through some really tough sledding here. So I think he'll make that argument in part of his coaching experience. He's had success in hockey, juniors and in the minors. So I don't think he's offside expecting $2 mil.
And even this year, the Canucks aren't going out and pulling a Nashville Predators or a Toronto Maple Leafs and adding multiple players. They've added a couple key players, and that's it. And they're looking to promote from within, and so he's going to have to work with that going into this year as well. So I think he's quite good at that. I think he doesn't get enough credit for what he's done with the young players. You look at everyone wanted him to throw Petey and Hughes in the deep end and play him at top 20 plus minutes a game right out of the gate, but he didn't, and he worked them in. And I think they were better off because of it. And you look at how, I think he deserves a lot of credit how he's handled Jake Virtanen as well. I think he's not letting Jake settle on his the good things he's doing. He's making sure he learns. You look at, I think we'll see it again with whichever defenseman wins that third left shot spot or that third pair spot that's up for grabs at camp. And I think you'll see that as well. I think whether it's Hugh Levy, Rathbone, or Rafferty, those players are going to really benefit from having Travis Green as their coach.
Well, I think that's why he got promoted too, is because of his work with like you said, with the young players, and I'm not surprised that's the route that Benning went with, and probably the drum that the owners were beating as well with the Aquilinis. So and he was being touted, or he was. There were rumblings when Calgary was looking for their coach that they're trying to get Travis Green out of the Vancouver system. So it sounds like he should get around $2 million, and I would be concerned if they went into the season without that extension. Kevin thinks it's going to be by the trade deadline, but I mean it's a short season, man.
I think it'll be done within the first month. I said if it's not done by the trade deadline, I would be hitting the panic button.
I would be hitting the panic button before the 13th, or after the 13th. Sorry.
That's where I would be too. So, unfortunately, like the other thing to look at too in terms of money, David Quinn, head coach of the New York Rangers, got $2.4 million out of the gate for his first job in the NHL. So I think Travis Green's going to get paid. I think again, it's with the Canucks and a lot of teams being cash poor right now because of the pandemic. It's going to be about structure, and I think that's the biggest holdup right now. Just reading the market, reading how the Canucks have acted. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the holdup. And Travis Green's well deserves to be paid significant this year, and at least come 21-22, and then we'll go from there. But I think he did it. Yeah, like I said, I think the Canucks will find a way to make it happen before the season starts. I'm really hoping it's done before camp, so they don't even have to answer that question at all during camp.
Now, I know we probably want to move on from the subject, but what would you guys think if they just did a 1-year deal, just to see? Because I don't know, obviously, how liquid they are right now with their assets, the Aquilinis. So, would you be surprised if they just did a 1-year deal and said, "Okay, we will promise you, like it's a handshake deal, that we will give you more money, but we need to see what's going to happen this year"?
He won't sign it, and he shouldn't sign it.
Because I don't think it happens either. I don't think either side wants a 1-year deal.
You don't want a 1 year. That's as lame duck as not going in with a contract.
True, right? But if you don't have the money to pay the guy, you don't have money to pay the guy. He's not going to get what he deserves, right?
Yeah. The whole thing though is like you don't know what. The 1-year deal will not replace this upcoming season's salary, right? No. He'll still get paid what he gets this year. So like, they're the how liquid their assets are and how much cash they have for this year doesn't change the fact on that. It's going into next year, and I think,
well, just the
like I said, right? I think it's structure, because I think you can still find a way to underpay him. For the 21-22 season, then overpay him for the next few years after that. It's just how much underpay is he willing to take for that 21-22 season?
Yeah, he beat Craig Berube. He beat the Stanley Cup champions. He got him within 1 game of the Western Conference final. Yes, they were outshot by a lot, but they were injured. So I don't know. I think he's sort of in the driver's seat here, but I do think they'll get it done, and it won't be a 1 year. If it's a 1 year, I think, especially going into next year, there's so many other things to think about there, because you got Pettersson, you got Hughes to sign, you got a bunch of other things to do in that next off season with the expansion draft. If it's 1 year, he's off to Seattle. Or he's not.
No, it can't be off to Seattle, Kev, because Seattle starts next year.
Right, but I mean, he's off. What I'm saying is someone will pluck him. If you're signing this guy for 1 year, someone will pluck him up.
Well, they can't talk with him until he's done the contract, anyways. So
right,
I just think he'd be at the point where he just would, unless they come with a ridiculous deal, like he would probably see what's out there.
Yeah. All right. Well. Speaking of that, we got the schedule has been released. The Vancouver Canucks will open against the Edmonton Oilers. The Calgary Flames will open on the road with the Winnipeg Jets. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens are opening matchup and end of season matchup as well. So I have a little bit of a rant, and I'm going to precursor this by saying I understand what is going on here in terms of timing, but I still think that this rant is relevant. The NBA last night opened up. They had Golden State versus Brooklyn. You had Kevin Durant facing his old team, the Splash Brothers, and then you had LA versus LA. You had Kawhi versus LeBron. That's like wow, I'm like, okay, that's a good way to start. I'm interested. The NHL is starting very boring. I'm sorry. Vancouver should be playing Calgary on Wednesday night hockey. That should have been the opening night matchup.
No, and Kevin, you're wrong on that one. Just I'm cutting you off right now. Opening night, no. The opening night, if you're going to go that way, the opening night should be Calgary Edmonton.
No, it should be Vancouver Calgary. It should absolutely be Vancouver Calgary, and the reason is you've got Markstrom, you've got Tanev, you've got Levo, you've got that whole drama surrounding the return. That is compelling to be. It should not be Vancouver Edmonton. You can disagree with me. It should be Edmonton. My thought was Edmonton, Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, and then Montreal should have been your first two matchups.
What's Edmonton, Toronto?
You've got the McDavid Matthews. You've got that rivalry. Everyone thinks they're the two best teams in Canada. You guys,
I completely understand where Kevin's coming from. I think you could have gone either way. I do agree with Kevin that it should have been one or the other. It should have been Calgary versus Edmonton or Calgary versus Vancouver, just for the storylines. And I can completely understand Edmonton versus Toronto. Obviously, Sean is an idiot. He can't understand it.
But that's a boring storyline because if
why is that boring?
No, that's not a boring storyline.
Why?
If McDavid Matthews is a storyline, how is Petey versus McDavid not a storyline?
Oh
I don't think
that's such a friggin'
I don't think that.
No, it is because literally they're those are the three best players those are the three best players in the Canadian division.
Yeah, but
fight me. Those are the three best players in the Canadian division.
I'm not disputing that. I'm disputing there is more. There's more around McDavid and Matthews. It might be you might be bringing down to Petey. You might be like, okay, well, Petey, he deserves to be up there, and I'm not saying he doesn't. But as far as it's Crosby Ovechkin. It's always going to be Crosby Ovechkin, and as of right now, Sean, it is McDavid versus Matthews.
Matthews is so overrated.
Oh my god!
You think that, but the storyline around that is what would get the eyes. And my point really about all of this is I don't think the NHL at times captures their storylines as well as the NFL and the NBA do. That's where I think they don't put the big games on the big nights. Not always. Like, okay, last year they had the Battle of Alberta on a Wednesday night, and that went pretty well. And they have some of your all Canadian matchups on a Saturday. But I do think that they can do a better job putting their best matchups where eyes can see them.
Okay, then what is the one night everyone watches hockey, Kev? The one night that gets all the views.
Well, that's Saturday.
And guess what is on the first Saturday of the season?
But you still have your opening night on Wednesday where all eyes and everyone will be excited.
Everyone's going to be excited for that first week. That first Saturday, like we all know how ingrained and the culture, the traditions of watching hockey on Saturday night is, right?
Yeah, of course we do.
Calgary, Vancouver is your first hockey night in Canada, your first Saturday night late game.
That's fine.
That's going to do, having it then is going to do more ratings than having it on the Wednesday. And the Wednesday is still going to do ridiculously well with Vancouver versus Edmonton. And I don't know who's Toronto play?
Montreal.
Well, they got Toronto, Montreal. Perfect. That is a great one to start the season off with. And Vancouver, Edmonton is like, you have two of the most rabid West Coast fan bases going at it the opening night. Like Calgary's fan base is great. They're very supportive, but in terms of like level of like insaneness and craziness, like, I'm sorry, Calgary fans are tame compared to Oilers fans, and then Canucks fans are off on their own like universe. galaxy, whatever you want to call about for craziness in terms of intensity and scrutiny. Like, though, if you really want, I understand the storyline part, but in terms of the two biggest, the most rabid fan bases in the West, it really is Edmonton and Vancouver. Edmonton because they just haven't been able to put anything together, and Vancouver because I don't know, Twitter is ridiculous. Like, you have two of the biggest the most emotional and intense, and use whatever adjective you want. I think that's a fine opening one, just because the storyline isn't there. The other thing with hockey, though, right now too, is that it's very regional in how you watch it. People are, and plus you're going to come back, they're going to get the ratings anyways, especially in the Canadian division. It's not like they're trying to sell the American division, where if you're going to try and do that and you're trying to sell you're trying to sell the
matchups.
The matchups.
Isn't Tampa and Dallas in the same division?
That was another one. That would have been a great first matchup. That would have been absolutely great.
And have Tampa raise the banner.
They're not going to raise the banner until they have fans in the stands first.
And I think that's a great idea. By the way,
but they're in Tampa. They're going to have fans in the stands.
They are actually. Raptors are going to have fans.
Yeah, the Raptors have them.
The Raptors are having fans in the stand. By the way, is it we the Florida now? Anyway,
no, it's we the Snowbirds.
We the Snowbirds. Okay. Yeah.
And going back to the Canadian division, you did have the matchup in the playoffs for Calgary versus Winnipeg, and Tkachuk versus Scheifele. That's going to be another one, right? Yeah. So there is a storyline, but I agree with Kevin that there is better storylines out there for the first night. And yes, it's on a Wednesday, but you want to have something to go with that. And Sean, you are going to get your McDavid versus Petey, okay? So that's compelling too.
I just don't like. You go back to Twitter and you go back to how the Canuck fan base just reacted to everything that the Flames did in the off season.
Canucks fan base reacts to everything happens.
I understand that, but they particularly were angry at like everything, and that's just, to me, I don't see the same emotion with the Canucks Oiler rivalry. I don't see it yet, unless one of the Canucks players checks Connor McDavid, then that will get going. And I probably...
Are you listening? That's your job this year, is to run over McDavid like you did in the Prospects tournament in Penticton.
Yeah, although the other side of that is Mike Smith's acting ability probably will rage Canuck fans at some point as well.
True. And there could be a potential playoff matchup too that could happen later on this year as well. That could stoke that fire, and it could start all with this first game. Who knows? Yeah,
it's all that being said. I am glad it's starting. I am really excited. I'm just nitpicking on like we are limited in what we can do in terms of matchups. And that's fine. And I am really excited that it's back. One of the things that is fascinating to me, though, too, is Anaheim and LA, who nobody thinks has a shot, but I will tell you, there is a team over there that I think has a shot to make the playoffs, have a 5-game series at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's going to be ridiculous.
That's going to be great.
That's unreal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just glad I'm glad we're back. I think we all need hockey back. I think that's the bottom line, and it's going to be exciting. And that Flames Jets game, I think there's going to be some bad blood with Tkachuk and Scheifele, and imagine if fans were in Winnipeg stands for that. But
there's also going to be four games in a row of is it 3 or 4 games in a row of Tkachuk versus Tkachuk, and it's like only, and then there's going to be a break for a game versus Edmonton, and then another Tkachuk versus Tkachuk game.
They should bring in Keith to do the ref. Yeah.
I think it's the mom that needs to do the reffing. I guess she's the one who told the kids that they can't fight each other. That's their only rule.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that'll be broken this year.
Yeah, it's exciting. Of course, the Flames play the Oilers and the Canucks 10 times. The Leafs play the Habs and the Jets 10 times. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I was a little confused on that with how just with the way they I honestly thought that it'd be Flames would get Edmonton, Vancouver would get Calgary and Winnipeg, and then Edmonton would also get Calgary and Winnipeg for the 10 games, but
yeah, the obviously you gotta have the Montreal in there, and there's always something. It seems like anytime that Toronto plays Winnipeg, there is something that goes on there, and there is a bit of a rivalry that has been brewing since Winnipeg came home to Winnipeg.
Well, that's because Laine is better than Matthews.
Oh.
I'm not saying that. That's literally what it was for that 1 year, right?
You know what? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised that you would be saying that. even if you I know you're joking, but if you were serious, it wouldn't surprise
me. Yeah. But it's great. Season starts January 13th. This is
there's the head-to-head breakdown.
You got the Flames 10 against the Oilers and Canucks. Oilers 10 against the Flames and the Canucks. Ottawa 10 against the Habs and the Jets. That's interesting as well. And then you got we have that looked at. It's just great. And I also think these series, I think the way that these series and how we talk about these series going in like 2 or 3 games and how teams are going to have to match with the playoffs with only 4 teams in each division going in. I think that this is going to be fascinating.
Yeah. No matter what, there's going to be animosity. Whoever anybody plays in the playoffs, there's going to be some sort of storyline. If you want storylines, there will be definitely some to follow. But I mean, I really hope it's either going to be Calgary versus Edmonton or Calgary versus Vancouver, Toronto versus maybe even Ottawa. Who knows? I think Ottawa is a dark horse in this. I do not think that people should be counting them out as of yet.
Branson as Thomas Chabot's partner is going to be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, that is very, very interesting. Talk about a supporting cast there, guys. Hey,
hey, at least it's not Zaitsev or
Ron Hainsey. Yeah, I got nothing to say on that.
Well, like when I went through the schedule, I always just look at certain dates, and I saw that very important time in our household. There's a 4-game set surrounding Valentine's Day for the Canucks and Flames, and that's going to be great.
Maybe you should have your own Valentine's Day on a different day just for you two, because I don't know if there can be any love lost there.
Yeah.
And then on my birthday, I get to watch the Canucks beat up on the Leafs, so that'll be fun.
That happened last year, and it didn't work out that well for you.
So it's I always like looking at those parts, but yeah, it's going to be fun to watch these mini series where they play 2-3 games in a row, and just see how the animosity brews, especially when you've got players of the likes of Cassian and Nurse and Roussel and JT Miller and Virtanen and Tkachuk and Lucic and the Adam Lowry on Winnipeg is an absolute pain in the ass to play against. I think it's gonna add a completely different. We're not gonna have the fans, but the animosity that could grow from these 2, 3, 4 game sets is gonna add something different to what we're used to for a regular season, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some new, there'll be the rivalry I'm looking forward to seeing what develops, Devin, is Edmonton-Toronto, because I think there's like so much McDavid, Matthews. Like I know, I'm not saying like I understand what you're saying, Sean, in terms of where Matthews is overrated, but there's just this. I don't know. They are the two teams that everyone thinks are the favorites. We'll get into that a little bit later, but there's just I think
who's stopping the puck for Edmonton.
I don't. Do they believe in stopping the puck?
And they don't have Clefbaum, and yeah. This division is wide open.
Well, absolutely.
Every team has flaws.
Absolutely.
Every team does have flaws, but going back to Kevin's point, I'm very interested to see how that rivalry of the egos of both Matthews and McDavid are going to flourish in each game. Who knows? And right now they've been training together in the off season too, so they probably have some buddy competition there too. So you know that I believe that since Matthews always gets kicked on the fact that he doesn't show up every night. This is a shortened season, so don't expect him to take too many games off, and especially against his friend in Connor McDavid too.
Yeah. Devin, the other thing before, and this will probably be just one more quick thing I also want to say. I think the media blue around this will be fascinating as well. Because Oilers, as soon as a Leaf media person disrespects Connor McDavid, that is the Oilers social media is going to lose it. They're gone. They will lose it.
Once Toronto media realizes that McDavid isn't good at defense, oh my gosh, that's going to just blow them to kingdom come.
I mean, same could be said for Vancouver too. Right. I mean, the media bases are completely are like they're not too far apart from each other, really. And that's one just thinks that they're the center of the universe, and the other one thinks that they're the center of Western Canada.
One thinks that they're the center of the universe. One wants to be the center of the universe. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. There you go. That's probably better.
But it's fascinating. But Devin, one of the things that we talked about, and by the way, we did do the World Junior preview with Tom and Derek. Check that out. I'm going to actually split them up and then put them on YouTube today before the previews. We just haven't had a chance to do that. But Devin, as we transition to the World Juniors, one of the things that has been talked about, and I think is going to be a storyline that connects the World Juniors to the NHL, is the idea that some of these players that we're seeing, including your Finnish Maple Leafs, could be playing hockey in the NHL as at the start of the season. Both Tom and Derek mentioned that would be a possibility. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's definitely a possibility, and to watch them now before the NHL starts kind of gives that rev up to that definitely potential that could be there. And it's like Marco Rossi of Switzerland, like watching him play Austria, watching him play and watching him dominate the Swiss was unbelievable, and it was fun to watch. It's too bad that he got a 10-minute misconduct, so you kind of missed him for 10 minutes there in the game. But he definitely has a potential to make that team. And you have Kirby Dach as well. He'll definitely he's solidified in Chicago's roster already. So I don't think any of my the Leafs Finnish players are going to be on the squad, but transitioning to Topi Niemela is I'm so thrilled that I watched him play last night, and he was outstanding. He got the best player of the game for Finland, and rightfully so. He had a goal and assist, and he's a smooth skater. He's a bit smaller, but he had some flashes there where my jaw kind of dropped a little bit. And I was actually looking more so for Mikko Kokkonen out there, but he wasn't really too noticeable in that game last night. And though I was very disappointed with Ronnie Hervonen not really showing what he can do, because he was a second round. Hervonen was a second rounder for the Leafs this past year in the draft. And but yeah, as far as Topi Niemela, I'm thrilled, and I'm excited to see how he progresses in this tournament coming up.
Yeah, Niemela did look good. I'll agree with you on the fact that I don't think any of the Finnish players for the Leafs will be making the Leafs roster this year. I think they're all signed over in Finland anyways. But on Finland, you had Ville Heinola, who I think will be pushing for a roster spot on Winnipeg for this upcoming season. He got 6 or 7. He got a few games last year with Winnipeg, and I think he definitely looks ready. Niemela does look like a promising prospect for the Leafs.
They're paired together, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to watching to see which players are potentially going to go from the World Juniors and into joining the NHL camps halfway through, because you're going to have Heinola, Doc, Thomas Harley as well, Dylan Cousins as well is going to Quentin Byfield. You're gonna on the States. You have Alex Turcotte and Trevor Zegras as will be joining for sure. It's a nice primer for the NHL season, because it gets us going. We're honestly, like, listening to Gord Miller and Ray Ferraro call a game last night was just like, it literally, like, I put it out there. It's like home cooking. It's like comfort food. Like Heidi made a joke to me. It's like, you haven't had enough comfort food over the past like month. I'm like, this is different.
It's comfort food for the brain.
It is. Like, I've missed being able to like sit on the couch, watch a live hockey game, like full on props to those like Chris Faber and all the video scouts who are up in 1, 2, 3 a.m. waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. to watch hockey with Finland, Sweden, Russian leagues to do their jobs and, well, to watch hockey. But it's just so nice to for the average Joe like us to be able to watch a game live. It's not a repeat. It's not it's not the same, but it's still so nice to have. And I'm really looking forward to in 10-20 minutes now, where we get to watch Canada and Russia. I am so excited for this game tonight, just because it's
is there a prospect on Russia that you're interested in watching?
Oh yeah, I'm really interested to watch Podkolzin.
That's who it is. I've never heard of him before.
More just being able to watch like Canada play, and being able to invest myself in a hockey game for the first time in 2 months, and it's freaking December.
My question for you two is: which are you cheering more for, Canada or your prospect on? You guys only have two, or Vancouver only has 2 prospects in this camp or in this tournament. It's a bit different for me because I have the Leafs and Flames, right? But what would you be more excited to see, Canada win or your prospects do well? And you can't say both.
Well, no. Obviously, you're going to cheer for Canada, right? But today, what I'm more interested in Russia about, yes, I'm interested in Podkolzin. In one hand, the 2 things that I want to see tonight, it's a pre-tournament game, so we're not this.
And every period has different refs.
Yeah, actually, I think if Tyler going to be a ref in this, is he running out? Is that going to happen there? No. What I'm interested in is, for the Russians, is what Igor Larionov is going to do for this Russian team. This is very different. He's going to let out the shackles. He wants his team to be creative, and I'm excited for that, because I'm not sitting here saying I cheer for the Russians, but I do miss that old skill set of what that Russians were, that the way that they passed. And I miss that. And I hope that we see a little bit of that. For Canada, the thing that I'm most interested in, other than Jacob Pelche and Connor Zary, by the way, is what's happening with their goaltending. How is this goaltending started? Because I think you got Spencer Knight in the US, you've got Askarov in the Russia. Canada, if Canada is going to get anywhere here, they need that goaltending to step up. Their forwards are going to be outstanding. There's no question about it. Their defense is strong, but the difference in this tournament is going to be goaltending, and who is going to step up is my question for Canada right now.
I'm too emotional to be able to analytically just cheer for Podkolzin. I'll be cheering for Canada, but ideal world, somehow they meet in the gold medal final and Canada wins, but Podkolzin wins tournament MVP.
In Sean's world, that's perfect. Yeah,
I know, right?
I agree with you, Kev. I like every year it's always about the goaltending because the talent's there for the majority of those countries like Sweden, Russia, Finland, Canada. Those are the top ones, right? So I am interested to see how that shakes down. And not to mention last night, Dustin Wolf, he looked great. I thought he was very calm and composed. I think he might push for Spencer Knight's spot. I know though the 2 goals weren't really Knight's fault overall because he was screened, but at the same time, I don't know. I thought that the U.S. played very well in front of him, and even when there was a bit of an onslaught there at the beginning of, or like from the transition of Knight to Wolf, Wolf stood on his head. He played very well. So I wouldn't put it past Wolf to push Spencer Knight out because it seemed like he played pretty damn well.
I don't see Wolf I think Dustin Wolf's a great story. Please don't get me wrong, but I just don't see him pushing Spencer Knight. I think the U.S. is going to ride or die with Spencer Knight.
I think the leash is shorter than what you're saying there, Kev. I think that Spencer Knight is their starter.
Yeah.
But if he has any sort of falter, I don't think they're going to be too worried about pulling him and going with Dustin Wolf.
Yeah, because say for instance, like he gets blown out the first game, and you're just gonna ride with them. No, you're here to win. It's a short tournament. And you're here to win, so you got to put the best team together, right? But I completely understand where you're coming from because coming into this, I was not thinking that Wolf was going to get any time at all.
Heidi gave us a great message with his first touch of the puck. He's already a Flames goaltender. He flubbed it.
Just wait till for Flames fans. Just wait till you have to watch Markstrom venture out. It's a heart attack. Trust me.
Oh, we've had our fair share of heart attack goalies that will get out of the net, aka Karirama.
Yes, yeah. Yes. That was also an adventure between the pipes, let alone outside of the pipes was one thing, but there was an adventure in between the pipes as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the States played Russia right off the bat, and that's going to be a huge game.
Yeah. We haven't talked about Cole Caulfield either.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that backhand was just nasty.
It was filthy. Ooh. I sent it in the group chat. Like for those of you who have not played hockey, the fact that he was able to get that puck up as fast and as accurate as he did when your stick and the puck is far away from your body, that is mind blowing.
Like he was in full on puck protection mode, and he was driving the net backhand, and he had it just so far away as puck protection, and he still had the strength and the skill to be able to get it up that quick and place it absolutely perfectly.
If you look back at that goal, the goaltender, he even was shocked. He's like, "What the hell just happened?" He looked around. He's like, "What the fuck?"
If I'm for the Canadians, I was thinking you pair him with Kotkaniemi. I think that will be good. But the one thing that just also came into my head, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, my God, you overpaid Josh Anderson because you probably are going to have to pay. You're probably going to have to pay Cole Caulfield a little bit sooner. You might. I'm just saying. I mean, it's way too early to think about that. But the fact you put Josh Anderson on an 8-year, $70 billion, not that much, but a big contract, that.
Yeah,
Cole Caulfield in your system. I don't know. That looks more of a mistake of a signing to me. Watching Cole Caulfield last night than it did even more. Like, and I'm, I don't want to oversell Cole Caulfield, but this is a guy. He's going to play in the National Hockey League. He's got the hands to do it
for sure. And you're talking about kicking yourself from looking back at it and signing players. Look at Florida. They have Devin Levi and they have Spencer Knight coming up. And both of them could easily be pushing for a spot, but they have Bobrovsky for another 7 years now at $9 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, Devin Levi, who's getting the start tonight.
Yep, and good on him. I don't know if you guys didn't see it, but he's been talking with Roberto Luongo, and Luongo's kind of getting him mentally prepared for this tournament and saying, just enjoy the moment. Pressure is what do you say? Pressure is, oh my goodness, as I'm screwing this up. Anyways, it was, pressure is a privilege is what he said. And that's 100% true. So I'm excited to watch this game, and I'm excited to watch how the Russians deploy Podkolzin and Amarov. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, as well as Jan Kuznetsov, Flames prospect.
Yeah, that's right.
It sounds like from talking to Derek Neumeyer last week, it sounds like he'll probably be more of a third pair guy, just because Shir Mukhamadullin is going to be more of the top guy. I hope I got that one right.
Very well.
Yeah,
I hear Mukhamadullin.
And Kuznetsov, he's not really a flashy defenseman. He's more of a stay-at-home guy. So if you notice him, hopefully it's for making a big hit or just playing solid defense and not coughing the puck up. So another person to be watching tonight if you're a Flames fan.
Yeah, so that starts in a couple minutes here. So we're going to get out of here. We will be back on Boxing Day. We are going to be recapping Canada's first game against Germany. Opening night, so
it's going to be a blowout, unfortunately.
Yeah, it won't be the longest recap of all time. But
the Germans get out of quarantine tomorrow.
So bad for them.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah,
and then we got Canada, Austria to start, but we'll do recaps just to see where they're at, and then it's going to get a little bit more intense after that. But how do we follow everyone?
I am BeardedConnect03 on Twitter.
I'm GordHowe09 on Twitter.
Heidi is Heidi Amazeballs. Schneid's SCHNEIDZ. I think he's traveling the world in the 7 seas, delivering the goods to people.
He's swimming through the snow here in
Calgary. You guys got a snowstorm out there. What's going on? And Tyler has a snowstorm to deal with out in Terrace there north of us. He's TNOBLE. So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.